Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take the material, you give us the articles, the research, your notes, and we really, dig in.
Yeah, we try to find those key insights, maybe the surprising details.
The stuff that helps you get properly informed without feeling like you're drowning in information.
Exactly. We're kind of guides going through the source material with you, pulling out what's important and why it matters.
And today we have a really powerful piece of source material. It's excerpts from Major Retired Tariq Mahmoud's personal account, Through the Flames at the Marriott Islamabad.
It's his firsthand story. What happened on September 20th, 2008? A really harrowing account.
Absolutely. It describes how this seemingly peaceful Ramadan evening in Islamabad just turned horrific.
He's completely shattered by this massive act of terror.
So our mission in this deep dive is to really immerse ourselves, and you, in Major Mahmoud's experience as he tells it.
We want to get a feel for the raw reality of that night.
Understand the challenges, the impossible situations, and those profound human moments he talks about. Let's step into his story.
Okay, so Major Mahmoud, he starts by setting the scene, right? The day leading up to it.
Yeah, he mentions it being hot, pretty typical for Islamabad.
And he just got home from work at the U.S. Embassy. His job there was pretty significant.
Head of security for American nationals, that's big.
Yeah, overseeing more than 700 guards. So a high-pressure role.
Right. But then he gets home, and the scene is totally different. It's Ramadan.
A time usually for calm, for family. He paints this picture of the house, alive with preparations for iftar, breaking the fast.
The sounds, the smells of food cooking.
His daughters helping set the table, his wife in the kitchen. He calls it a peaceful, almost sacred moment of family unity.
And he mentions he just sat down, said a quick prayer of gratitude.
That detail really hits home, doesn't it? The absolute calm right before the storm.
And then the phone rings. That's what breaks the peace.
Exactly. It's the regional security officer, the RSO from the embassy.
His boss, essentially.
Well, his contact point for this kind of thing, he notes the voice was calm, but there was this grim urgency.
And the message.
It's stark. Tariq, there's been a massive explosion at the Marriott. We need all available security personnel.
Oh, wow.
There may be U.S. citizens among the casualties. Just like that.
This world just flips. And he'd immediately know the significance of the target, the Marriott.
Oh, absolutely. It wasn't just any hotel. It was the hub. Diplomats, journalists, business people, officials, everyone stayed there.
And it was considered secure, right? Tightly secured.
That's what made it even more terrifying. If the Marriott could be hit like this, he said it sent a chill down his spine.
So his reaction.
Yeah.
It's so immediate. He hasn't even eaten his iftar meal.
No. He just grabs a banana and a date. That's it. That's all he eats from that meal.
And he's out the door.
Yeah. Heading towards the hotel, breaking his fast while driving at high speed. He already knows it's bad.
He gets to the U.S. Embassy first.
Yeah.
What's the scene like there?
Chaotic, but focused chaos, if that makes sense. People mobilizing.
Right.
The ambassador herself, Ann W. Patterson, is there coordinating with emergency teams.
Gives a quick briefing.
Yeah, rapid fire, massive casualties, huge destruction. The priorities are clear. Find and secure any U.S. citizens and help the Pakistani responders any way they can.
And this is where he makes that crucial decision about the ambulance. He sees it in the parking lot.
Yes, not just any ambulance. It was a high-level diplomatic emergency one, usually reserved,
For VIPs or something?
Probably. And it's just sitting there unused in all this mayhem.
So he just takes initiative.
Completely. Grabs the keys, calls two of his guards who are trained medics, and they're off. Racing to the Marriott in this ambulance.
Incredible. As the ambassador apparently said later, it was used where it mattered most.
Yeah, and when they get there, he writes that nothing could have prepared him for the sight.
Just unimaginable, I suppose.
The entire front of the Marriott, this iconic building, is just ablaze.
And the area around it.
A total wreck. Shattered glass, twisted metal, luggage, charred luggage, and human remains just scattered.
God. And people coming out.
Trying to. Many badly hurt. Burns, bleeding, shock. You can picture it. The security cordon is weak. First responders totally overwhelmed.
So he pushes forward towards the fire.
Yeah, towards the entrance. Drawn by screams from inside. Flames are literally licking the building, black smoke billowing out.
Does he connect with anyone official there?
He finds a Pakistani army captain trying to manage things. Shouts who they are, what they're there for.
We need to start evacuation now. Something like that.
Pretty much. The captain confirms communications inside are gone, but gives him the nod, basically, go if you can.
And he goes in. Into the burning building.
Yes, that's where the account takes us next. He describes the sound, haunting screams from inside.
How does he even go in?
Puts a wet handkerchief over his face, plunges into what's left of the lobby.
And inside.
Total devastation, walls down, chandelier shattered, sparking wires. Dangerous.
But his focus is rescue.
Immediately, helping carry people out. Some can walk, he says, but most can't.
Just physically carrying the injured.
Yeah, he mentions the physical toll, getting blood on his hands, his clothes, his face. His 2 guards are right there with him, pulling people out.
They take the first load to the hospital, Pirians.
Right, the Pakistan Institute of Medical Sciences. And then something quite remarkable happens.
What's that?
When he gets back to the Marriott, a young volunteer nurse from PIMS named Bilal asks to come back with him into the fire zone.
Wow. Voluntarily.
Yeah. Major Mahmood notes he only had about 3 years experience, but showed the courage of a veteran.
That's incredible.
And this young nurse, Bilal, becomes his partner in triage and rescue for the rest of that awful night. It shows how, even in horror, these connections just emerge.
Spontaneous teamwork.
Exactly. And they needed it, because this went on all night.
How long was the operation?
He says from about 8 p.m. until almost 4 a.m., 8 hours.
Just continuous rescue.
Continuous loops, Marriott to hospitals, drop off injured, race back to the war zone, as he calls it, again and again.
And the scene outside must have gotten more intense.
Oh, yeah. A growing crowd. Families desperate for news, more responders, the media swarming. Just imagine the pressure.
Amidst all that, he shares some really specific personal moments. Those stick with you.
They really do. He talks about a man, face badly blistered, grabbing his arm.
Yeah. What did he say?
Just whispered, "Tell my daughter I love her."
Oh, man.
And another person, losing consciousness, asked him to recite the Kalma Tayyaba.
The declaration of faith.
Exactly. A request for that spiritual anchor right at the edge amidst all the physical horror. It really underscores the human element.
How did he cope with moments like that?
He admits it was incredibly hard. He writes, "I tried not to cry."
I can only imagine. And physically, after hours of this.
By 3:30 a.m., he says he was exhausted, barely able to stand, clothes soaked in blood and soot. But he still made one last trip.
Just kept going.
Until he physically couldn't anymore, it seems.
So after that final run, he heads back to the embassy.
Yeah, around 4:30 a.m. It's almost time for Sari, the pre-dawn meal during Ramadan.
And who does he run into?
Ambassador Patterson.
What was her reaction, seeing him like that? Covered in, well, everything.
Her first question was immediate concern. "Tariq, are you hurt?"
And his answer? It's just so direct.
"No, ma'am. Just other people's blood." Sums up the whole night, doesn't it?
It really does. And her response?
Simple but powerful. She put a hand on his shoulder, said, "You did a good job."
Acknowledging his actions.
Yes, and she also mentioned the ambulance, confirming his initiative was right. It was used where it mattered most. A quiet moment of recognition after immense effort.
So moving away from the immediate action, the aftermath. The final toll is devastating.
Yeah, he lays it out. 54 people lost their lives.
Including 2 U.S. nationals and the Czech ambassador and his fiancée.
Right, and over 260 injured. The Marriott itself almost completely destroyed.
He gives some technical details about the bomb too, doesn't he?
Yes, helps you grasp the scale. A dump truck packed with 600 kilograms of explosives, RDX and TNT.
600 kilos, that's huge.
Created a massive crater 25 feet deep, 60 feet wide, just sheer destructive power.
But in the middle of all that destruction, he highlights something else. Resilience.
Yes, specifically the owner of the Marriott, Mr. Sadruddin Hashwani.
What does he do?
Almost immediately, he announced they would reopen in just 2 months.
2 months after that level of devastation.
Incredible, right? And he declared, "We will not surrender to terrorism."
That's a powerful statement. Did he back it up?
Absolutely. He kept paying all his staff their full salaries until the reopening.
Wow.
And provided compensation to the injured and the families of those who died. Major Mahmood calls his actions a real symbol of national defiance.
That's quite something. Then there was recognition later.
About a month after, yeah. A ceremony at the U.S. Embassy.
For the rescuers.
Exactly. Awarding certificates, medals. Major Mahmood received one.
How did he feel about that?
He says he accepted it humbly, viewing it as shared recognition for everyone involved.
But he makes it clear it wasn't about the medal for him.
Very clear. He states plainly, "I did not do what I did for a medal."
So why did he do it? Why run into that inferno?
His reasons are raw deeply personal, tied directly to the experience.
Like what?
He lists them. For the cries I heard in the darkness.
For the hand that squeezed mine in fear.
For the children who waited outside emergency rooms. For their parents who never returned. It's about the human cost he witnessed firsthand.
And ultimately, his core motivation.
It boils down to something incredibly simple, yet profound. He says he did it because I was there and because someone had to.
Just presence and necessity, not abstract heroism.
Exactly, being present in that moment of crisis and seeing the absolute need for action no matter the risk.
He finishes the account reflecting on how that night stays with him.
Yeah, especially every Ramadan. The contrast is so stark. The peace of fasting versus the profanity of that violence.
A reminder of life's fragility.
And the necessity of bravery, as he puts it.
But what stands out most for him, looking back?
It's not actually the horror, he says. It's the resilience, the courage of the people who risk themselves to save others.
He saw the worst.
And the best of humanity, all in one night. His account ends as a dedication.
To the 54 people who died.
Yeah.
And to the survivors and the heroes of that night.
Yeah.
So we've really walked through Major Tariq Mahmoud's incredibly intense personal story, from that quiet family moment
right through the absolute chaos and danger of the rescue,
to his really thoughtful reflections afterwards on what it all meant.
And using his own words, this deep dive really lets you feel how one person's viewpoint can unlock such a deeper understanding of a huge tragedy.
It takes it beyond just numbers and news reports, doesn't it?
Definitely. It becomes about individual courage, specific moments of fear, real human connections made under unimaginable pressure.
And it connects back to you, listening. It shows how extraordinary bravery can just emerge from ordinary people in extreme situations.
That core idea he expressed.
Because I was there, and because someone had to.
Yeah, that really resonates. It leaves you with a question, doesn't it?
It does. So, thinking about Major Mahmoud's experience, what does it really mean to be there when a crisis hits?
And what does his story tell us about where that resilience comes from, that decision to act, even when you must be terrified?
Something powerful to think about.